Hi, this is Damon Pistolka, host of the Faces of Business podcast, where we talk to interesting people about life and business. We cover their backgrounds, obstacles they've encountered, and find out what drives them. Along the way, our guests share nuggets you can use to drive your success. Reach me directly, DAMON at exityourway.us, or check out our website, exityourway.us, for more information. I hope you enjoy our show. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to the Faces of Business. I'm your host, Damon Pistolka. And today we're going to be talking about improving the customer experience with Product Sort. And I have Cris Young here to talk about that with me. Welcome, Cris.
Hey, thanks, Damon. Glad to be on.
Man, I am really excited about this, Cris. We met a while ago. We talked a couple times now about e-commerce and Product Sort, and you showed me some products, exciting products you're developing. But it's great to get someone with your experience in manufacturing and the fastener industry on today. So I'm excited to talk.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So without further ado, Cris, let's talk a little bit about your background. Kind of, I mean, when I say you've been in the fastener industry for a while, you've been in the fastener industry for a bit because you started out really young at this.
I did. I started out actually in a hardware store with my dad, packing for the customers' orders. So that just led me into the world of in industrial supplies, and from there I've worked for UPS. I've worked for small distributors, and I really like the small distributor atmosphere and culture, and that's where I got to hone my technology skills and appetite for just learning how to take a problem that exists in the manufacturing distribution world and solve it.
Yeah. And you've got, I mean, we're talking about fasteners, but I mean, you've got a wide ranging background because you have worked for the SBDC, helping consult companies that wanted help with the SBDC, correct?
I did. That was just an enlightening experience for me. I got to work with other small business owners that were having issues with, you name it, from hiring to exporting. And that just opened up my eyes to so many more avenues and opportunities out there in the small business world. So I was really happy to be able to do that. I worked as, not worked as, but volunteered and served on the Women in Manufacturing out of Ohio. That, again, was another great opportunity for me. I've worked for the Women's Chamber of Commerce and the American Small Business Chamber of Commerce, and I got to, for 20 years, got to meet with small business owners in Washington, D.C. and help them achieve their goals when it came to procurement with the U.S. government. So that was just, I've lived and had some amazing experiences, I tell you.
Yeah, no doubt, because the wide ranging businesses you get to touch in those roles really allows you to bring a lot of things that you see working well into your own business and in the business that you support. Yep. So I bet that had to be interesting. So if you go back to those, what are some of the what are a couple things that were really interesting to you to pick out that you go, man, I still remember, and that was really cool that we were able to work on that, or we accomplished, or something like that?
Well, as far as working with the government in the procurement area, we took and worked with companies that were literally startup companies that, and we mainly worked with women-owned and small minority-owned companies. That's the mission of both of the platforms, and just a small little one-person company turned into a multi-million-dollar 500 employee company.
Wow.
Through the connections that were made And, I'll tell you one of the biggest things I learned. I can tell you who really runs this country as far as procurement is concerned, and you'd be surprised. Just the people I met down there in Washington D.C. and the opportunities that are available for people who want to put in the time and effort. It's definitely something that any business owner should consider. The government is I think something like the fifth largest buyer of goods in the world.
Yeah, in the world, yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So you want to make some money, that's something you should think about.
Yeah, that's really great points, and it is cool, and it's such. I can imagine it's very, very rewarding to be able to see those businesses start up and starting businesses, people really going, what should I do next? And then you help them through that. And then the next phase. And like you said, if you go from a single person to 500 employees and millions of dollars, that's quite a change.
Yep. The connections were just amazing in that opportunity. And again, and that extended to at the SBDC, you take a company, excuse me, who had little export experience and bring them into a free trade zone.
Yeah.
Which we were in Ohio have that opportunity. And, you see this company just blossom out there. It's just, if it makes you feel so good inside to know that you're able to be a part of something that makes somebody else so happy.
Yes.
And so rewarding.
Yes. That's so cool, Chris. So I just want to recognize a few people here. We've got Kenneth in here. Thanks so much for stopping by today, Kenneth. And we got Nick Dorsey's with us this afternoon, and Mike Ashabronner. I can never say Mike's last name. I don't know why. I've got my last name's Pastalka. You think I could say just about anything after that, but that is that what you talked about right there, just like you said, is so satisfying to see those businesses just be able to enjoy the successes in that, then the, like you said, free trade zones and the other things. I just don't think that enough people think about and look towards the SBDCs or sometimes the manufacturing extension partnerships and other places that, or what's the other one?
There's also
Score and it's PTAC. Is it?
Yeah. Oh, PTAC. Oh
yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. With some of these co-funding opportunities and the free training and the Score, the SBDC. I mean, there's just so many things. If you need to find something and you can't find it, and it's not someone in your network or you haven't found it, I think those are great places to start.
And all free.
Yeah.
All free.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people should definitely take the opportunity to look into them. I think every state has, some sort, whether it's the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, the PTAC centers, they have women's centers if you're a woman-owned business. Just definitely take advantage of those things. They're free. They help get your business to the level you want it to be at.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool because I'm glad we got to talk about that a little bit because it's because especially today, right? There's a lot of people as you look across the business landscape now, there's a lot of people that are choosing to start their own businesses now. Mm-hmm. And I think at an even higher rate, yes, some are in the gig economy and other things, but I think there's a lot of other businesses being started as well. And these are some good resources for those people.
Definitely. And you got to take advantage of this stuff, especially when you're starting out and you don't have your own network. Yeah. That's another thing that each one of those agencies that we mentioned are also very good at, networking and connecting you to other people that are like-minded, that are in the same situation as you, that can partner up with you for whatever your needs are. You definitely need to check out those resources.
Yeah. Because those peer opportunities to meet people that are, in the trenches with you, fighting the same fight is so important because that, you know, there are people to talk to. How did you go through this before? What have you dealt with this or not? You know, there's just a lot of things, and that network is invaluable at that point.
Yeah, they have. I'll tell you another thing that really I found very helpful in my journey. The Small Business Development, no, the SBA, Small Business Administration, has a program called Emerging Leaders. And for small business owners, and there are some qualifications. You have to be earning or driving so much revenue, and have a limited amount of employees and stuff. So there are some criteria that you have to follow. But they have a program, Emerging Leaders, that I think it's 7 months.
Wow.
2 nights a week, or at least the class that I went to, and basically you get an executive MBA out of it.
Wow.
And
that's
it's
crazy
free.
Cool.
It's
that's crazy
free.
Cool.
You learn the ins and outs of every aspect of your business, from legal to accounting to importing and exporting. I mean, just the whole gamut. And it was really, really a great experience. I don't have a college education. I started when I was, a teenager working, and just continued my career through that avenue.
That's awesome.
So for me, it really gave me a lot of the, background stuff that I hadn't gotten through college education, and invaluable stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, because it gives you, it probably was a nice practical education. Because honestly, a lot of college is not practical education. And it may help you get in someplace because of the degree, but it's not, in many times, not practical education.
Yeah.
It's the way it is. But so I want to talk a little bit about women in manufacturing, because you've been involved in Women in Manufacturing, the Small Business Association, Women in Small Business too, but women in manufacturing. So let's just talk about it in generalities. And I don't know, you know in specifics, but do you think that we're making progress and we're really starting to, or have been turning a corner, and more women are being invited into manufacturing and finding good roles in manufacturing?
Yes, I definitely think that. And I don't necessarily think that they're being invited. I think that they are stepping up, and they are the leaders.
Good.
They're not waiting for the invitations. They're moving forward.
Good.
And moving in. And I think 3D additive manufacturing is a huge, reason why that is happening. I think you see I read a lot, and I report on the news a lot, and just the stories I see out there of women being involved and taking leadership roles in that one, industry is amazing.
Yeah.
And I just think that, it can't go anywhere but up.
Good.
And forward. So I'm really happy to see all that.
Yeah.
And, in an industry like my industry, which is the fastener industry, we are got a little work to do.
Yeah.
But other industries are just there. It's going gangbusters, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, for me, honestly, I look back at that. I was so fortunate to work with some of the smartest and best leader women in manufacturing. I'm always flabbergasted and just so happy to be in the room, because honestly, it sucks because in like you said, in the fastener industry or something like that, where it's male dominated, there's a lot of people that, the women have to work harder potentially to get into positions and other things like that. And that sucks. First of all, I would just put that right out there. It's blows they should do. That's not right. And all the other things that go wrong with it. Right. I've just been so fortunate. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
It's really cool.
I don't take, first of all, I personally don't let any of that stop me or get in my way. If something's in my way, I find a way around it, through it, up, over it, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to, I was raised by my dad, and that's just the way he taught me. He had a company. It was Young and Sons. It was a painting company, and I was his only employee.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. So for me personally, that's not an issue. But there's a lot of young women out there that
exactly.
see that this, they see the injustice of this, and they let it stop them in their tracks. And you just can't do that. I would say find a mentor that's going to guide you and show you that, that's nothing to let get in your way. There's always a way around it. And really, we're in 2022 now. I mean, is that even legitimate?
It's not. It's not.
I mean,
it should not
what
be.
What difference does it make what you're,
does not.
Anything.
Yeah, anything, right? Anything doesn't. It shouldn't make a difference. Is do you come up and can you show up and can you perform? And that's
exactly.
And
can you perform?
Thing. Yeah, exactly. And when it comes down to that, that's the thing that I really do love what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. You see it in practice in the business now. You see it in on platforms like LinkedIn, the women in ERP. I know Chris Harrington and Sarah. And I can't remember names now, but there's 3 or 4 people that are doing that. And I'm just so happy to see that. And like you said, stepping up as leaders and getting out there on video and not talking and the other things they're doing and running companies, leading companies, whatever they want to do. I mean, like you said, it's like, I'm doing it.
Yeah. The most important thing is to have a voice out there. And I've noticed more and more on LinkedIn that women are just out there speaking up and creating the content and the conversations that need to be said, regardless of what sex you are. And they're actually being listened to and thought of as leaders. So I mean, that's just amazing. Hey, women are like coaching football,
I know,
baseball, and there's a woman going to be in the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. It's just awesome. It's just so amazing to watch. It's so different from when I was 13 years old and wanted to play in the Babe Ruth League, and they were like, "But you're a girl." But I'm better than half the kids you got out there. So it's just so different, and so glad to see. Just had a baby granddaughter, and I just know that her life is going to be so different and so more fulfilling as far as opportunities are concerned in manufacturing and industry and just in general. So really happy to see that.
That's so cool. I'm glad we got to spend some time on it because I really like I said, I think it's cool to see. I'm just thinking there's so many people that I know now that are just really making a difference, and it's awesome to see. So
if I may, if you just as you said, there's so many people out there making a difference. And I'll say thank you to people like you and Kurt and all of the others that are out there, putting the word out there that, hey, if the people can perform and they can live up to the goals and the expectations of the job in front of them, what difference does it make what they look like? And it's people like I said, like you guys who really, we need those voices out there. And we're grateful for them. So thank you.
Well, it needs to be done. I'm glad to be able to spread what I can. The thing that we're going to talk about a little bit, though, is in the fastener industry, you've seen quite a change over the years in the way that the fastener industry and how the products are sold. I bet it.
Oh, yeah. Used to be, your grandfather would pull up in his pickup truck, and he would, ask you what you needed and fill up your bins in your little shop out there, and then he'd drive off and he'd show up the next week and do the same thing again. Well, it's not that way anymore. Now it's everybody wants things instantly, and they want to be able to do it themselves, self-serve. So everything's moving online, and that was a huge problem in our industry. And we started back in 1999 dealing with this. I worked for a small distributor, as I said, and we went through every software application that we could come across that told us that they would be able to help us sell online. And when I mean we went through it, we actually signed up for a few of them. So I've seen them all. I've experienced them all. I've used a few of them, but none of them could solve the problem. And the problem is that you have a complex product category with hundreds of attributes, hundreds of products and hundreds of attributes, and you're jamming that into a filtered, faceted search on the left-hand side of your website that just does it. I mean, how can you be on the job site and be looking for, a fastener and have to search and sort through, 12 different filters in order to find that one little thing? By the time you figure that out, okay, the day's over.
Yeah.
You haven't, and you needed this. It was a critical piece, right?
Yeah.
You still haven't found it. And so that was our issue with what we saw out there as far as e-commerce and customer experience. And for us, it all boiled down to customer experience. How is the customer going to be able to get the product that they need in a easy to understand and manage application?
Yeah.
So what we did was we came up with the Product Genius technology, which simplifies the search, sort, and display of those complex product categories all on one page, and it all happens in milliseconds.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we solve so many different issues in that one application. One is, you can get to see the whole product category all at once on one page. You can buy what you want, ignore the rest, and go on to the next product category. And you can do this all in, online, whether it's mobile or desktop or laptop, whatever you're using. And, you can get that order that took, 3 or 4 hours to figure out, or if you were going through a regular search thing, having your procurement department buy one item at a time. That was, a real issue, and we solved that. Now, there's programs out there today where you can, it remembers your last order and stuff. And we also have those capabilities. So, that doesn't scare us. But it's for the guy out there on the field who's coming up with a job. He needs something right away. He needs to find it right away. He's going to go to his supplier's website and he's going to look for it. And he's not going to be able to find it because of that long, tedious system that's in use currently today. And that's what we're trying to change.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I remember I've limited purchasing experience. I'll just say that right now. But even in the limited that I did, when you were buying fasteners or in the sheet metal industry where you're buying inserts that go in, you're buying, it has to be a quarter 20 insert and it's got a certain finish and a certain length. So there's so many different things that go into that one thing. By the time you get down to it, and even I think probably the first time I bought like that online was in the early 2000s, and it's it still is in a lot of places. It's just really clunky. Really clunky. If I wanted a quarter 20 socket head cap screw that was a grade 8 and 2.5 inches long, it might take you a long time to find that stupid thing.
Yeah, well, let's go put it this way. It's going to take you like at the minimum, 90 seconds to figure it out. And that's even if you put it in the search box and, you type it into the search box, you're going to come up with a list of stuff. And I bet you that 5 out of the 6 items that show up aren't even related to what you put into that search box.
That is such a great thing. I'm sure you're right there.
The search out there is just terrible for industrial products. So our process list the product category in step 1, and you list all the variations of that product in step 1. You click on the radio button. Step 2 shows you the graph, everything that's available in there, and then you add it to your cart. Boom, boom, boom. You're done. You're on to the next thing. You're not, Joe's not out there standing there waiting to try to figure out where is he going to get that item from.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to do it. He's going to have it, and he's going to know he has it on order within 30 seconds. And that's the end of that. Now he can move on to, what he really needs to do which is get on with his regular job. That's one aspect of it. The other side of it is for your internal sales reps. Okay. You hire them to sell. Okay. Not to, shout out or have to type out specifications to your customers.
Yes.
Okay. You're paying them to sell, and our technology provides all that information all right there in that compact little, space online, so that the salesperson just types it in or tells the customer to type it in, and boom, there it is. All of that pertinent information is right there. And your salesman can say, you know what, how many you want? How many should I put on hold for you? Let's talk about, if you need this, you also need that. So he's actually doing the selling, not the technical part of it.
Not the searching.
Not the searching, not the technical part of it.
So as you go into this, I've seen the technology with you. We've gone through it. It's cool as heck. First of all, the thing that I really think, and I was talking to Ken Novak this week, and we got off on this somehow. He started talking about search and product search and how horrible most B2B product search is. And then I read an article last week about or a post or something. Somebody was talking about B2B websites that don't even list all their products. And I was thinking to myself, well, they probably do, but you just can't find them. Not because the data is not right. How I mean, compared to where you need to be, being perfect, being 100, how bad are most people's data sets on the backside of these things before they get started? I mean, are we 10, we 20, we 50% of the way there? I mean, because you have to have this stuff right. Otherwise you can't tell the computer how to show it to people right. Correct?
Some people are actually negative, I hate to say.
Yeah.
Data is my data. Oh boy, we could go on and on about data.
It's the key. It's the key. If you have your data all right, everything else comes out so nicely, because if I know this is this product category, and you go down these lists, because I've got clients where we've got, we're running 200,000 different SKUs, right? And different suppliers, different SKUs, and the manufacturers that have their stuff together, their categories are really nice. And when you want to go through and look at things, the sort gets much better. But yeah, if it's not right, like you said, they're negative. So what are some of the things you typically run into when you're looking at this?
Everything from misspelling, duplicates, for instance, in one product category that we were working on, hex cap screws, we had one vendor that had the same, what should have been the same description for the same product, spelled and written out 11 different ways.
Yes.
I mean, you can't have that. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about e-commerce, product information, or digital assets, or content management. You need to have clean data. So I would say for anybody out there looking to get online, make sure that your data is 100% accurate.
Yeah.
If you have to pay somebody to clean it, then do it, because I'm telling you, in the long run, you're going to save thousands of dollars in wasted time and effort. Because here's what happens, and I know because I've done this personally. You hire a company, they're going to put you online. Okay. They're going to put you online. They get all your data. And the minute they try to enter it into the e-commerce system or ERP or CMS system, CRM system, excuse me, nothing matches up. Nothing's matching up. Your pictures don't match. Your technical information's not matching. You have one item that's listed 6 different ways. You just, and all of that costs money. And it costs money not only in you having to redo it. It costs money in because your customers can't find the products.
Yes.
And that's the big thing right there. The customers can't find it. They can't buy it.
Yes. And whether we like it or not in B2B, you're being measured on how good are you compared to a B2C experience.
Yep.
And they're used to buying exactly what they want, getting it very quickly, making it easy to find it.
Yep.
Exactly what you want very quickly.
Yep.
And if they don't like it, they want to send it back. And that comes to my next.
Or they go someplace else.
Or they'll go someplace else. Yeah.
They can't find it on your website. I guarantee you they're going someplace else to find it.
Yeah.
And that means you lost a customer. And if you lost a customer on that one item and he buys 10 other items, guess where he's going for those other 10 other items?
Yeah. Someplace else.
It's a big deal. You must have that data accurate. And my suggestion is you get it done from the start, even if it costs you to do it.
Yeah, it is well worth it in the beginning, because what will happen too that I've seen is if my data is wrong and Damon goes and Damon buys a blah, blah, blah. And, there's listed in B2B, there's a lot of $500, $1,000 items they're buying every single minute of every single day. Yeah. So I bought 5 of these things because this is what I needed in my factory or whatever. And your data was wrong and you sent me a different model. Now I've got $2,000-$3,000 worth of equipment just sitting there. I can't use it. I want to send it back.
Yep. And which all costs more money.
It all costs more money.
The only one that makes money off of that is the transportation company.
Yeah. The freight companies, the only ones that make money off it. And you never get it back in the original condition as much as you try. And you're going to lose, damage, everything else, and hassle from your customer service people having to deal with it. And that customer may never come to you again.
You ticked them
because
off.
you made a mistake.
Business is all about trust. If they can't trust the information that you're providing them to solve their issues, they're going to go someplace else. The end of story.
Yeah.
Don't care what business you're in.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And it is as you said, you got to have that trust, and you only have a second to do it. And it's a second to establish. You got to keep it all the way through the process, and a second to lose it.
Yep.
And that's really
that's the way the world goes these days, right?
Yeah, it is.
You're in, you're out.
Yeah. So when you look at the Fastener, well, let's talk a little bit about Fastener News. You're involved in Fastener News too, the industry.
Yes, I
publication.
Am. That was so.
How did that come about?
We had to, as a small fastener distributor, we had to find a way to amplify our voice, amplify, our ideas, all of this technology we were coming up with. We had to find a way to make ourselves heard. So we started doing some, just brief newsletters and getting online as far as social media is concerned. And nobody else was doing it. The regular fastener publications just weren't seizing the opportunity as far as we were concerned. Yeah. So we made it bigger. We went out there and we started talking to people and getting stories and publishing them, and the newsletter became bigger. Then we went and we did a website, and to this day we're still the only online media source that is purely online. You can get news on a daily basis there, and every week we do a audio podcast, whatever it is. And we tell everybody what's going on, whether it's events or acquisitions or whatever kind of news there is in the industry. And that's important because in today's business world, things they're just moving so fast.
Yes.
You can sit around and wait to read the publications in our industry. They come out quarterly. But, by the time you get that story out there in your quarterly publication, the people that are Fastener New Desk followers have heard it for the past 3 months. So it's kind of old news.
Yeah.
And we're pretty proud of that. We're pretty happy with the fact that we provide our industry with up-to-date, accurate, trusted news for the industry. And we've also brought in other industries along with that. So we talk about manufacturing, we talk about 3D printing, we talk about whatever industry impacts our fastener industry, we talk about it. And for us, that's just, it's been a great learning experience. I mean, I just know so many more things about the companies within the fastener industry, the companies that buy from the fastener industry. And it's just been a great experience. We love it.
No kidding. That's cool. I didn't realize that it was all online, and it's And even it's been 11 years now, or over 11 years now.
It has. We started out on Twitter. We were Twitter freaks, going out there and pumping out little what were they at the time, 140 character statements, talking to people within our industry. And now it's, thankfully the industry has, adopted, a more open, reaching out and talking to other people, interactive community. And, that's been a good thing for the industry. It's really helped, I think, strengthen relationships, and the communication is good. And we think it's really helped. I mean, especially when you had the trade shows having to not be, not be available because of COVID in the past couple of years. Because of that community was there, people were still able to, communicate with their vendors and their customers. And, that, I think all of these little steps are all making for a better community and industry communication. So we think all positive things happening.
Yeah, that is so cool. And I didn't realize the history of it. And that's even more exciting as you think about it, because I've seen some other people too. Dan Bigger and some others started the USA Manufacturing Hour Twitter chat on Thursdays. And that's incredible. When you get on that, there might be 100 companies they're talking about the topics, and it's a crazy fast paced thing, but the community that you can build around something like that, the Fastener News Desk like that, is so beneficial, because everybody has challenges in these businesses. And like you saw when you were in the SBDC and the other places helping in the companies, having others in your industry around you that you know and trust and can talk to about these things is so important. That's just another way to do it.
Yeah, most of our trade associations within the industry are regional, right? So what we have with Fastener News Desk is we're able to talk to all of those people. So when people on the East Coast are having an issue, they get to alert and discuss with people on the West Coast through social media and through, knowing, just the quickness of the fact that the information is out there, right? It's not held back, like I said, for a quarterly, publication to come out. You actually know about it when it's happening. So if there's a supply chain issue on the East Coast, the West Coast knows about it, within an hour. And they can then get ready for it, prevent it on their end, or, be prepared for whatever situation might come up. And I don't care what industry you're in, that makes you a better business owner by knowing the information, having it readily at your, fingertips, and be able to do something about it and be prepared for it.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool because I hadn't thought about that though. But if you're in the fastener industry, right, and there's something happening, and just you see it and you know it's going to affect you because you saw that, like you said, in minutes rather than waiting for a publication to come out, you can then prevent the problem from happening to your end customers and help
Yeah.
them be more successful by going, hey, we need, you need to buy more of this. I'm bringing more in because we're going to be short for a while, especially with these supply chain challenges that are kicking everybody right now.
Especially right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it is key that you know what's going on, and just and the only way to be able to do that is to be up to date. And
Yeah.
not everybody's going to be sitting in front of their computer or on their phone, reading everything that comes through. But when it's
Mm-hmm.
important, you know about it because everybody's talking about it, and
Yeah.
that's key. That's
Yeah.
key.
That is. That is. That's so cool. So cool. Well, we got Joseph Stepke stop by. Hey, Joseph. Oh, you got to check the spelling there on Chris's name, but thanks for stopping by, Joseph. I know Joseph, so I can give him a bad time. But yeah, that's super cool. I mean, especially now, because I mean, you don't plan these things, right? You don't
Mhm.
plan these things like in our company, we got quite honestly, we had no pre-thoughts about COVID or anything like this. We started going virtual in 2019 because we wanted to be able to service clients nationally. And it's like I didn't want to be on the plane as much as I was for most of my career. And I said, this we have to figure out how would we do what we do virtually. And if I can do it with my neighbor, I can do it with anyone across the United States. And that's
Mhm.
what we did. And like yours, with the supply chain challenges, I think you got to probably be hitting some of that because now you can react and get the information out so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so most of our the fastener supplies come in through the West Coast, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you wait to find out about that, a week or 2 weeks or
Yeah,
whatever, you on the East Coast, your customer is going to be screaming because now it's 3 weeks later
exactly.
and he still doesn't have his product. All right.
Yeah.
If you knew about that right away, you could reach out to other vendors that are in the, similar
Yeah. It had the same
supplies.
stock. You could be pulling stock from
Exactly.
vendors around
You can be
you.
pulling stock from wherever you need to pull it instead
Yeah.
of waiting around to find out, the supply's not coming in. It didn't get in off the ship, or the ship is sitting in the dock, or it's out to sea, or whatever the case may be, or it's going to cost you another 20,000. That's a big thing that we've been having in our industry right
Yeah.
now is the
Yeah.
cost of getting freight over here,
Yes.
or even getting a container. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one thing we did through Fastener New Desk was we started when this COVID first hit, and we knew we weren't going to be able to have trade shows and whatever. We started a monthly Zoom.
Oh yeah.
We call it Fizz, Fastener Industry Zoom, and we met every month. And the issues and the people being able to talk about their issues about workforce, about supply chain, just
Wow.
about the PPE and being able to get it, or
That
whether
is
they
so
couldn't
cool.
get it, whether they needed to have it, whatever the situation may be. We worked we worked through that throughout the whole year, and
Yes.
people were able to, large companies were talking to people with smaller companies and vice versa, and
Mm-hmm.
helping each other out and getting each other through it to keep everything moving. And that
Yeah.
was just a benefit to the industry. And for me, it was a great experience. I mean,
No kidding.
I'm loving it. I'm soaking it all up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I'm so glad I asked more about it because it's so interesting. And beneficial for your industry overall, like you said, because I think a lot of people now realize that collaboration is key. Even if you might sell the same product to some of the same people, but it's that's not a biggest deal, as big a deal as it ever was before. I don't think in the world today.
Yeah, and
So
if you tend to be a regionalized industry, I mean, when you open it up to the whole,
yeah.
the whole country, in one shot, and they're like, hey, the guy in New Jersey is talking to the guy from, Colorado,
Yeah.
and he never had that opportunity before unless he went to a trade show,
Mm-hmm.
which happens once a year.
Yes. And in once a year, you're not going to build a relationship.
No.
And by seeing somebody through your community multiple times, you talk to them more than once. You get this comfort around them, and they actually understand who they are and what they do, and they do the same with you, which is so much cooler.
Yeah, there's just a lot more opportunity available through that interaction, networking, whatever you want to refer to it as. It's just that opportunity is there and available, and people should take advantage of it.
Yes. So with Product Genius now, I gotta ask. You've radically changed the search for complex one to many attributes kind of items, with items with a lot of attributes like screws, nuts, bolts, whatever you want to think. There's so many different kinds of industries this goes into, products.
Yep.
But when you look at the fastener industry, and I think Product Genius is a great place to start, because you look at those kind of items and it's such a huge number of SKUs and just subtle variations that make a huge difference in the end products that they make. How much have they really embraced overall? The industry has embraced e-commerce. Do you think it's still half of the industry, or is everyone pretty much doing some of it, or what do you really see in the industry?
My personal opinion is they have not embraced it as much as they should.
Yes.
But I think that we are an older generational industry. And I think that is part of it, although there is a huge turnover going on right now.
That's what you said.
And I think that's going to catapult it. I just think I read that somewhere recently that companies are expecting to spend upwards of $250,000 on new technology within the next year or two. I'll assume that that's also including my fastener industry.
Yes.
I think that's a great thing. The other thing is I think that manufacturers tend to think that they don't need e-commerce. And that is a huge mistake in the aspect that even if you just want to do a quote, you still need an e-commerce based platform in order to be able to do that.
Yes.
And then we go back to the data again. So, for whatever you are, manufacturer, distributor, and whatever industry you're in, you need to, take a look at your technology stack, where you're at right now, where you want to go. And again, I'll emphasize the data.
Yes. Well, Cris, it is so cool to get to talk to you today. And I'm, like I said, when I saw the Product Genius technology, I'm like, man, this makes it simple, because I can remember back when I couldn't find a lot of stuff, and still today you go on websites, you can't find stuff when you need it, and how the Product Genius just simplifies the process, makes it easy. And like you said, if I'm doing something and I need to find it quickly and I need to get it ordered and get on to the next thing, I think it really is solving a need for the industry. So.
Yeah, well, we're one click behind Amazon, but other than that, we're pretty happy with what we've got and what we've developed, and we hope to be able to expand it very soon beyond the fastener industry. We started there because that's where we have our knowledge and our experience. But as you mentioned, it can be used in many different industrial supply and other retail industries. So we're looking forward to the future, where everybody gets to see a whole product category on one page and be able to buy from it, as often as they need. So,
yeah, that's great. Well, I just wanted to say thank you, Cris, for being here today. Again, we had Cris Young, Product Genius Technology, with us here today. She's talking about the fastener industry, her experience in the fastener industry, women in manufacturing, which was awesome, by the way. We got to talk about that. We talked about the Fastener News Desk is an online organization and news organization that you guys started 11 years ago. And that's so great because we talked about that. But just thanks so much for being here today, Cris.
I really appreciate the opportunity, Damon. Thank you very much.
You bet. Just thank you so much. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back again next week with more interesting guests talking about life and business on the Faces of Business. Talk to you soon. Here we go.